So if you haven't heard this policy, Rishi Sunak has come out and announced that kids should be forced to learn maths until the age of 18. What an utterly depressing policy. Now, I hated maths, and I know that millions of people also hated maths. I'm going to be completely honest, maths isn't even that important. I have never used maths in my life. Thank God for technology. Now, why aren't we teaching people more fundamental things about taxes or how the economy works? Why can't we teach people how not to get screwed over because they have the lack of information about how the current world works? Now, this policy is a significant one. It's not made up on the hoof. Although I can see a lot of liberal media, I can see Keir Starmer saying, well, it's just not a very well thought out policy. No, it is very well thought out. Our education system at the moment is incredibly narrow, and this extension until the age of 18 narrows it even more. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by a narrow education? Now, the idea of education, what it's supposed to be, is to educate the newer generation of multiple things. It's supposed to be a wide range of ideas for people. It's supposed to educate people on how we can better the human species, how we can better society, how we can teach people to explore. We can teach people about arts and music and creativity. But our system at the moment is nothing like that. What it is a very neoliberal education system, and this extension of the maths policy is even more of that. What do I mean by a neoliberal education system? A lot of people might be thinking, what do you mean? I'll explain. Currently, as it's set up, is that we are priming people. We are trying to mould a very specific kind of person to get them ready for the world of work. We're teaching them how to be punctual. We're teaching them how to be a good little worker. We teach them how to respect authority. We just teach them plain numbers. We are essentially wringing out all the creativity from human beings to create a robot-like cog in the machine ready for the capitalist world. It's so sad and depressing, but that is the education system. And this policy, what Rishi Sunak has come out with, it's no coincidence there's maths. Why is it not, I don't know, school has to be extended to 18, but you can choose what you want. I mean, I suppose we already have that with just sixth form in college. But it's specifically maths because it leans into the idea that we need to be teaching people specifically about business. And going back to neoliberalism, neoliberal education essentially says there's only one particular way of educating someone. There's only one correct way. And the correct way is people need to understand business, people need to understand numbers, and that is it. And to some people, when you say we need to teach people about the arts and creativity, it seems like hippie and liberal. That's because capitalism and neoliberalism has infected our lives, our brains, so much that no alternative is deemed acceptable. And this policy from Rishi Sunak further encapsulates that. Human beings are messy, they're complicated, and we are brimful of different ideas. Everybody thinks differently, which is good, right? But our education system wants to funnel this very narrow kind of person and push them into the world of work. This also pushes the idea that some people can physically work harder than other people. Now, we have a term for that. We say, well, that person's a hard worker, that person's lazy. That's not necessarily true, though. It's that some people find enjoyment in maybe more mundane tasks and are good at that, and other people find much more enjoyment in more creative things. But we've created this idea that you have to be a particular kind of person to be acceptable in society, to be productive. And what we're measuring by productiveness is profit and money. And if you're not contributing to a company, a business, by making money, and you're just spending all your time being creative, then you're not a productive member of society. That is our education system. That is what this policy signifies in terms of teaching people maths at the age of 18. And it's completely wrong. Even though Rishi Sunak has come up with this policy, I'm almost certain that this policy has been floated around conservative circles for a very long time. This is a sad and gross policy. We should be looking at transforming our education system that's fit for everyone, rather than policies like this, which only perpetuates the current system we live in.